It's the Philadelphia Little Quakers traveling down here to play the Rocks of Delray Beach. This is Bernie Zabresny. I'll be doing the play-by-play in today's game. And with me, the head football coach at the Penn Charter School, Bill Gallagher. And Bill, we should be in for a good ball game tonight.
Yeah, I was talking to some of the players from the Delray Rocks right before the game here, and they're unbeaten. They're 13-0 and have won 2 or 3 playoff games, and they were pretty tough ones, but they've been successful in all their games so far, and they're really pumped up for tonight's game.
The Little Quakers flew in here to Florida on a charter on Thursday morning, practiced yesterday at one of the nearby private schools, and appear to be primed for the game. Enjoying the sunshine, a little bit of the cool weather was brought down with us. Yesterday, temperature in the mid-70s. Today, Thursday, temperature slipped into the lower 60s, but the kids have had a good time touring all of the many attractions in South Florida. For you listeners who are hearing your first Little Quakers broadcast, we'll tell you a little bit about this team. This is the 29th year in existence for Little Quakers. It's the brainstorm of Bob Levy, and the record has been phenomenal. 138, 12, and 4 in 29 years, just fantastic. This is an all-star team of boys from throughout the Delaware Valley. They are 14 years of age, 150-pound maximum weight. This is the cream of the crop from Philadelphia, and they're traveling down here to Florida to show off their skills. We're going to bring you the report to you with those individuals who have made this 1981 Little Quakers roster. The offensive team, the ends, Dave Waskevich from Philadelphia Father Judge, Peter Montague from Glenside McDevitt, Andy Garzinski from Philadelphia Cardinal Dougherty, Gerald McNeil, Philadelphia Frankfurt High, Fred Crute from Philadelphia, also Dougherty. The offensive tackles, Dennis Morgan from Phoenixville Malvern Prep, Ed Small from Philadelphia Penn Charter, Jim Lampy, North Wales, North Penn Columbia. The guards, Chris Riley from Philadelphia Northeast High, Mike Gill from Pendle, the Chamonix Langhorn, and Mike Ciambella from Philadelphia Bishop McDevitt. The centers, Charles Wirtz from Philadelphia Malvern Prep, and Bill Willer from over in Jersey, Pennsauken, St. Peter's. Now the offensive backs, the 3 quarterbacks, and they're all good ones. A 2-year player, Billy Lockhart from Glen Olden, Malvern Prep. Joe Schoenlieber from Oakford, from Archbishop Wood. Bill Fleming, Philadelphia Cardinal Dougherty. The halfbacks, Mike Donofrio, Springfield Delco, Springfield High. Glenn Hassett, Philadelphia Washington High. Gunnell Hudson, Philadelphia Lincoln High. From our listening area in the immediate WBUX area, Scott Webb Warminster, Germantown Academy. Stanford Brown, Philadelphia Malvern Prep. Robert Curtis, Philadelphia Northeast High. The fullbacks, Robert Miller, Philadelphia Malvern Prep. John Hale, Havertown Malvern Prep, and Tommy Stool, Philadelphia Cardinal Dougherty. Bill Gallagher, how about the defense for the Quakers?
Defense has been a good one for the Quakers this year. At the defensive ends, we have 2 Father Judge Crusaders, Charles Schretzman from Judge and Mike Schrager from Judge. At the tackles, Jim McCulligan from Philadelphia Central High, Dale Gallagher from Philadelphia Woodrow Wilson Junior High School. The middle guards, we have Chris Lamplugh from Philadelphia, again another Father Judge Crusader. Andy Killen from Philadelphia's Northeast High School. Joe Portella at a tackle from Philadelphia's Malvern Prep. At the ends, we have Jim Vignola from Abington and Bishop McDevitt. At linebackers, we have John Miller from Trevose and Archbishop Wood. Jim Dugan from Drexel Hill, he's at Episcopal Academy. Jimmy Irvine from Gladwin, St. Joe's Prep. Tommy Preeve from Philadelphia, Northeast Catholic. The defensive secondary at the corners, we have Chris Morton from Langhorne, and he's a Penn Charter student. Joe Nolan from Philadelphia and Dougherty. David Clark from Philadelphia, Woodrow Wilson Junior High School. Jeff Bass, Philadelphia, he's also Penn Charter. To safeties, we have Todd Pride from Philadelphia Episcopal Academy. Mark Skozinski from Telford. The other corners, we have Robert and Treary from Conshohocken and Whitemarsh Junior High School. And another Penn Charter student rounds out the roster, Pat Delaney from Philadelphia.
There you have the 1981 Little Quaker roster. Here in Delray Beach, it's a battle of the unbeatens. Little Quakers, 4-0 with victories over a team from California, the champions of the San Fernando Valley Conference, winners over an all-star team from New Orleans, likewise a team from Baltimore, and a victory over the always tough Camden Whitman Park Parkers. We'll be back with today's kickoff after this message.
Home investment is MAB.
When you're buying paint, remember, there is a big difference. MAB is the best paint you can buy. It's been test-proven time and time again. So remember, if you value your time, your money, and your home, MAB is the best investment you can make.
Cause your home investment is always MAB.
The Little Quakers have won the toss and have elected to defend the south goal. A slight breeze blowing from the south to the north here at beautiful Sidlawn Field. Fine crowd in attendance for tonight's game. The Rocks of Delray Beach 13-0. Bill Gallagher, the Rocks appear to be juiced up for this one.
As I mentioned before, I was talking to a couple before the game, and they were really looking this. They played their Super Bowl down here in their interleague and division playoff games, and they think this is their one out-of-state game, and they're out to show the people from the north how the football is played down here at Florida.
Joe Schoenlieber from Archbishop Wood, a quarterback, does the place kicking and kicking off chores for the Quakers. The ball is on the tee. The whistle has been blown. And Schoenlieber hits it. A line drive kick going down the right side. The quarterback, Talbot, fields the ball at the 20, takes it to the center of the field, looking for running lane. Good pursuit by the Quakers, and down at the 21-yard line. Excellent kick coverage. Down on the kick, Mike Donofrio and Tommy Stool. Tommy Stool gets credit for the tackle with a good hit right at the ankles. The Rays will have it 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line. Let's see what type of offense the Rays come out with. Little Quakers played this team last year and had a pretty easy time of it, winning by a 40-6 score. The Rays come out in a wing right formation. Talbot, the quarterback. Plunkett, a running back. McGill, McLaughlin. It's a sweep to McLaughlin off the right side. Hit and down at the line of scrimmage. Talbot running a Delaware sweep, handing off. Charles Schretzman, defensive end for the Quakers, makes a tackle.
That offense that they're running there, Bernie, is very similar to the Delaware Wing T as we know it up north. The execution is not exactly the same or crisp as some of the high school teams up north run it, but nonetheless, it was a wing set, and here they are out in it again.
The Quakers in their 50 defense, the monster 50, and slanting every time. Same play, sweep right. Again to McLaughlin, who gets it out over the 20 to the 22-yard line. At the bottom of the pile, Jimmy Irvine, along with tackle Jim McColgan from Central High in Philadelphia, will quickly set the starting defense. Schretzman and Vagnoni the ends. McColgan and Portella the tackles. Lamplou the middle guard. Miller and Irvine the backers. The monster David Clark. The corners Todd Pride and Robert Intreri. The safety Chris Morton. 3rd and 9 for the Rocks. Again, wing T formation. Jim Talbot calls the signals. Talbot goes play action pass, looks to throw, has a man out there, diving catch, and it is a reception. Up over the 30 to the 34-yard line. Bruce Gladhorn on the reception, and it's a 1st down for the Rocks. Nice piece of execution on the play action pass, Bill.
Yeah, it looked like our cornerback over there, Chris Morton, was right with him there for a while, gave him a bump, and he slipped off, went out in the flat, and as soon as he turned around, the ball was there. They're running that Delaware offense, or the Delaware set, and most teams are right-handed. They ran the first 2 play right-handed, came back with the play action, and threw it back to the left flat with that one.
Again, wing T right. Little counter trap up the center. Again, the McLaughlin, the workhorse, who gets it out over the 35 to the 36-yard line. Jimmy Irvine, the backer, with another tackle. A gain of 2 yards, 2nd and 8 for the Rocks. 9:40 remaining in this first quarter, just underway. Little Quaker football from Delray Beach, Florida. The Quakers, on a road trip, will play 2 games this weekend, playing a team from Cooper City on Saturday night. And with the talent on this squad, these boys are able to play 2 games in a weekend. 2nd and 8. Straight T formation, robust T. Dive, ball is loose. Fumbled snap. Talbot, the quarterback, falls on it. The nose man for the Quakers, Lamplou, pins down Talbot. No gain. It's going to bring up 3rd and 8, the second passing situation. Again, the secondary will be tested. Secondary coach Bill Resch has done a great job with these young men. Of course, Ray Dooney, the dean of Delaware Valley coaches, is the defensive coordinator. Talbot back to throw, throws a crossing pattern, has his man up over the 45, 50, into Quaker territory to 40, inside the 35 to the 31-yard line. A little delay route, a straight drop back by Talbot. Drug a man underneath. It looked like Chuck Hitchley, the left end, took it across into the right flat. And that was a beautiful pattern as he had men clearing for him underneath.
Yeah, Bernie, usually in a passing situation that they were in, you would see people split out a little bit, but they remained in that double tight situation with the wing. Quarterback dropped straight back and hit the left end on a real tight, shallow crossing pattern underneath our linebackers and found them open on the right side.
Here's a Talbot was shaken on the play, and Ernest Graham has come in to play quarterback. Wing left. Graham straight back to pass. Looks for the tight end. He's got it. Inside the 30 to the 29-yard line. Pick up a 4, 2nd and 6. And this is an aerial circus as Graham shows equal ability to Talbot. They are 3 for 3. David Clark, the monster back, on a fine tackle.
Bernie, that wasn't for much yardage, it wasn't for much gain, but the fact is that the quarterback is pinpointing his passes. He's hitting them underneath our deeper coverage. And right now, Delray's on the move.
The Rocks, who were pushed around last year by the Little Quakers, are a determined group of young men this year. On a drive, 2nd and 6, play action. Back to pass, the quarterback Graham throws it another crossing pattern. The ball is incomplete. Good defensive coverage that time by Chris Morton and Todd Pride from their corner and safety positions as they tried to run the crossing pattern the other way this time to the big tight end, Paul Fisher.
Bernie, I look for the Little Quakers to start getting things going here a little bit. To get these first couple of hits under here, the Delray Rocks have now run 6 or 7 plays, and I think the Quakers know they're in for a ball game here, and they'll come back a little bit with it.
Fumbled snap, and the quarterback Graham falls on it. The break for the Quakers. Of course, the Rocks are in 4-down zone, and with a 4th and 7, I'm sure they'll go for it. New wide receiver into the game, Al Safeli, with a play from the coach. Double wing formation this time. Graham, the quarterback, straight back, looks to throw, blitz on by the Quakers, hits his man on a crossing route down inside the 25, and right out of bounds. It's very close to the first down. Down at the 22-yard line, very close to the first down on the coverage for the Quakers, David Clark.
Bernie, that's the same play that they ran. That's a three times in a row, but that's the same one they completed for long yardage, but I do believe he's short.
The Quakers have held the officials' rule without the need for a measurement that the Rocks came up short, and the Quakers will have their first offensive possession at their own 22-yard line. The Rocks had eaten up 5 minutes in the initial drive, and with timeout on the field, we'll take a timeout for this message.
Action! Excitement! Join us for the greatest show in racing.
Come out and cash in on the action at Keystone Racetrack. Today, don't miss the $25,000 added Hobson handicap. First race daily, 12:30, Sunday, 1 p.m. No racing Thursdays.
Keystone, cash in on the action at Keystone. Thoroughbred action, Keystone. Racetrack, Keystone.
The Quakers come out in a twins formation. Billy Lockhart, the quarterback. Robert Miller, the up back. Mike Donofrio, the running back. It's an isolation play off the left side. Second man through. Donofrio hit and wrapped up at the 25-yard line. Gain of 2 yards. Glenn Hassett comes in with a play from Coach Bob Levy. Billy Lockhart, the starting quarterback. The starting running back, Scott Webb and Mike Donofrio, the fullback, Robert Miller. The ends, Waskevich and Garzinski, the tackles, Morgan and Small, Ciambella Riley, the guards, Wirtz to center. Second man through right side. The ball carrier is Hassett, and he is drilled by the Rocks. For the Rocks, that's J.R. Brown coming up from his cornerback position and really sticking the ball carrier.
Looks like the Delray Rocks, Bernie, are in a type of 50 defense, and they're stunning a lot, and they look like they're really quick out there in defensive. They look like there's a little hole there opened up, but boy, it closed very quickly. Gladhorn and Hitchler both coming over there.
The Quakers out of the huddle with 3rd and 8 on a slot left formation. Running an option play to the left. Lockhart pitches, has his man out there. Hassett bulldogs his way out for the first down over the 35 to the 36-yard line. A little option play where Lockhart faked to the second man through and then optioned the end, and his execution was superb. And a good job of hard running by Glenn Hassett after he took the pitch.
Yeah, Glenn was hit about 3 yards short of the first down by Steve Bonney, but he was able to maintain his balance there. He ran real hard, ran over the Bonney a little bit, got tripped up after he did, but got enough yardage for the first down.
The Quakers with their first down have it at the 36-yard line. To the fullback on the gut play. Big Robert Miller gets it out to the 38, 39-yard line and bulldog down. Call it a gain of 3 yards on first down. 2nd and 7 at the 5-minute mark in the first quarter. There is no score. Little Quakers of Philadelphia and the Delray Beach Rocks. Good block on the right side that time by Mike Ciambella, who's a real hitter, and Charles Wirtz, the center. Quakers. 2nd and 7. 2 wideouts left, Donofrio and Garzinski. Lockhart rolling left, under pressure with the blitz on. Tries to unload it and goes down way back inside the 30 to the 27-yard line. The blitz was on, and Bill Lockhart had little opportunity to throw the football. A big loss of 15 yards back to the 26-yard line. It's going to be 3rd and 20 for the Quakers, and that was a very, very costly loss.
Yeah, I think the Delray Rocks are playing man-to-man defense out here, and if Billy had a little time, he might have been able to complete a pass because I think both people were open.
Hassett, running a sweep to the right, is hit in the backfield. The Rocks stunning out of that 50 defense, sitting in some gap sets, giving the offensive line considerable problems, and the Quakers are in a punting situation. John Hale from Havertown and Malvern Prep enters the game to punt the football, and he hits a boomer, a rocket, driving the receiver back inside the 35, who has running room to the outside 40, 45, 46-yard line. That's Otis McKinney on the return out to the 46-yard line. And the Little Quaker defense comes back onto the field, the offense having been frustrated.
Hale might have even outkicked his coverage there a little bit. He got off a booming kick, but it was not that high. It was returnable, and they set up a nice wall, and John Fenningham, they made a nice return on the ball off the right sideline. 1st and 10 for the Delray Rocks.
Graham, your quarterback, brings his team out in a slot right formation, a tight slot. Reverses, and his hit and wrapped up. Looked like he missed the connection there with the running back. Joe Portella, defensive tackle, makes the hit. Portella from Malvern Prep, one of 8 Malvern Prep products on this year's Little Quaker squad. So we can expect big things from the Friars in the future. 2nd and 11, call it a loss of 1 yard for the Rocks. They're out in a wishbone formation. Graham, the quarterback, reverses, hands the ball off to Fortuna, off the right side out the midfield. Gain of 5 yards. Charles Schretzman, defensive end, in on the hit. Good defensive play by Schretzman. Chris Lamplugh finished him off. Defense seems to be stabilizing here, but really the Rocks have not had much success running the ball, Bill, but throwing, they've enjoyed great success.
It's been that, on that first drive, it was the passing game that hurt them a little bit, and it was a short passing game also, completed, catch and run the ball. Here's another passing situation here. We're up 3rd and 5, and again, they're up in double tight situation.
Wishbone, the ball is fumbled. The snap is fumbled, and the ball is loose, and the Rocks have recovered, but it's going to bring up a punting situation. Graham, the quarterback, will stand in punt formation. It's a low snap, and the ball is shanked off the left side and rolls out of bounds down at the 36-yard line. The Quakers will end up with pretty good field position here for their second possession. The offensive team comes onto the field for the second time. Those offensive coaches for the Quakers are David Montgomery and Bill Ashmead, the offensive line coaches, along with Harrison Clement, the receiver coach. Lockhart now with a wing right formation, hands to Donofrio off the right side on a sweep. Donofrio cleans the line of scrimmage, down across midfield, down to the 40. The ball is loose, down at the 36-yard line, and the Rocks have recovered. Donofrio broke off a 30-yard gain, and on a good hit by one of the Rocks, coughed it up down at the 36-yard line. Tough break for the Quakers as they seem to have found something in the Rock defense, exploited it for big yardage, only to have the miscue.
Mike Donofrio broke the one tackle at the line of scrimmage, went up, and as he was going down fighting for extra yardage, Casey Murray for the Delray Rocks come in and hit him again. The ball popped loose, was caught in midair by Chris Ball, and he was tackled right there. First turnover of the ball game, and the Delray Rocks have starting again with decent field position.
Here come the Rocks. Quarterback throws it out into the right flat, incomplete. Good defensive coverage by Dave Clark, who's been all over the field in the secondary. Little play action pass that time by Graham as he went out into the right flat for one of his wideouts. That's A.D. Wright. 2nd and 10 for the Rocks. 1 minute remaining in the first quarter. Graham, hands on a sweep off the right side to McLaughlin, and McLaughlin is hit and wrapped up. Little Quakers, well, it's going to be a loss of 1 yard, bring up a 3rd and 11, and the Little Quaker defense is going to call a timeout with 50 seconds remaining in the first quarter. We'll pause for this message.
Tradition is something that is always evident around the holidays. And like the traditional symbols of mistletoe and holly, candles and Christmas trees, the Buck Hotel remains a traditional dining spot for many Bucks Countyans. And you know, it's not too early to plan your Christmas party at the Buck. For reservations, call 357-1125. And keep in mind that the Buck has dining and dancing every Friday and Saturday night. The Buck Hotel, Bustleton and Bridgetown Pikes in Feasterville. Don't pass the Buck.
3rd and 10. Delray Beach. Straight back to pass is Graham. Dumps it out, and the ball is intercepted. Jimmy Vagnoni, the defensive end, intercepts it, has clear sailing down and caught inside the 10-yard line. Jimmy Vagnoni, who himself was a receiver for the Little Quakers last year, switched to the defense this year, has been a standout defensive end, covering the offside flat, stepped right in front of the intended receiver, took it down to the 9-yard line. What a break for the Quaker offense as the defense comes up with a big play. Super job by Vagnoni.
Yes, he just dropped right off. It was a drop-back pass. He was a weak side in, dropped off, and that's the problems that can happen with that short passing game, that you intercept one of those, and there's no one there between you and the goal line, and unfortunately, Jimmy was caught from behind a little bit, but that's the quickness of this Delray squad.
Lockhart has his team out in a wishbone formation. Hands it, second man through left side, Scott Webb. Webb inside the 5, down to the 4-yard line. Scott Webb with a good piece of running. Took it inside. And we've just been gonged. Dipped it inside, went to the outside. Got it down to the 5-yard line. That's the end of the first quarter here at Delray Beach, Florida. There is no score. We'll be back with second quarter action after this message.
Sunset Memorial Park, set on 200 acres in beautiful Bucks County, is dedicated to the respectful care of the deceased and to the inspiration of the living. Its dignified memorials of imperishable bronze are set level with the lawn, thus providing a scenic and uncluttered environment, one that can be an abiding haven of comfort for surviving family and friends. We invite you to talk with our staff for further information. Our administration building is open daily from 9 to 5. Sunset Memorial Park, County Line Road in Feasterville.
First play of the second quarter. Lockhart goes second man through right side to Hassett, who's down inside the 5 near the goal line to the 1-yard line. Glenn Hassett running very hard behind the block of Stanford Brown. Stanford Brown out of Philadelphia and Malvern Prep. through a good block as the lead blocker, near side back out of the wishbone. Also a good job by Eddie Small, Penn Charter product. Mike Ciambella, the right guard. Charles Wirtz, the center. Chris Riley, guard. Dennis Morgan, a guard. 3rd and goal from the 1-yard line. Lockhart brings them out again in the bone. Donofrio, a running back. And the whistle blown on the field. There is a penalty flag down. The penalty is going to be called against Little Quakers. It's going to be 3rd and goal. Replacing Fred Crute, who was in for blocking purposes, Andy Garzinski, the wideout, and in for Stanford Brown is Scott Webb. The Quakers now with 3rd and goal from the 6, come out in a loaded formation, a trips formation right, and we can look for the flood pass. And the ball is overthrown. Bill Lockhart tried to dump it to Mike Donofrio in the flat on a flood pattern, and Lockhart rushed the pass and overthrew it, although there was pretty good coverage by the Rocks.
Yeah, they were out there in man-to-man, even a free safety on that side, so all the Little Quakers were covered out there. Taylor did well to get rid of the ball, and looks like we have Joe Ciambella coming in here now to try a field goal. That penalty was a little questionable call. Offense offsides before the ball was even snapped, but what can you expect when you're on the road?
No question about it. Joe Schoenlieber is going to attempt a field goal. The ball is going to be spotted at the 14-yard line, would make it a 24-yard kick. Mark Skarzinski holding a high snap. The ball is down, the kick is up, it is good. Joe Schoenlieber does a good job of getting the kickoff, but credit the 3 points to Mark Skarzinski, who had to climb the ladder to bring down that high snap, got it on the tee. Schoenlieber kept his cool and put it through the uprights. The Quakers are on top at the 11:15 mark in the first quarter, 3-0, and we'll pause for this message.
Home investment is MAB.
When you're buying paint, remember, there is a big difference. MAB is the best paint you can buy. It's been test-proven time and time again. So remember, if you value your time, your money, and your home, MAB is the best investment you can make.
Cause your home investment is always MAB.
Ready for the kickoff after that successful field goal. Joe Schoenlieber, the man who put the points on the board, has the ball on the tee. That was Joe Schoenlieber's 2nd field goal of the season. He hit a 40-yarder earlier in the year. A line drive kick going down inside the 20 to the 18-yard line, up over the 30, 32, and down at the 32-yard line. John Hale, with very good kick coverage, brings down the ball carrier McKinney at the 32-yard line.
We'll see the importance of that field goal. 2 weeks ago, when the team from San Fernando Valley came in here undefeated, and as soon as they got behind by the score of 7-0 to Little Quakers, I think they panicked a little bit. They weren't used to being behind. Let's see how being behind affects the Delray Rocks.
The Rocks unbeaten, 13-0 with a wing right formation. The ball is loose, and quarterback Graham falls on it. He handed it off that time to a new running back, Steve Bonney, who fumbled the football. Joe Portella caused that fumble with a very good hit from his defensive tackle position. The defensive people again for the Quakers, Vagnoni, who came up with a big interception, setting up the three-pointer, and Schretzman the ends. Portella, McColgan the tackles. Chris Lamplugh, the middle guard. Jimmy Irvine, John Miller, the backers. Intreri and Pride, the corners. Morton, the safety. Clark, the monster back. Bone formation. Second man through right side. This time it's McGill. Jim McGill, wrapped up and thrown down at the line of scrimmage. On the bottom of the pile, John Miller.
Bernie, I think already just looking at this next series right after that field goal, some of the enthusiasm that the Rocks came out with in that first period is certainly died out. They're walking off and onto the field. The messengers from the coach on the sideline, the Little Quakers seem to be a little bit more fired up, maybe a little bit settled down now that they're in a ball game.
3rd and 10. The Rocks with another tight formation, wing left. Graham pitches left to McKinney, who claims the line of scrimmage and has a first down out near the 44-yard line. McKinney showed great speed once he got across to the line of scrimmage with a tremendous burst of acceleration. Ran by 3 Quaker tacklers, taking it out for the first down at the 44-yard line. Came within a whisker of taking it all the way.
Bernie, that was a busted play. They started running a toss sweep to the left, and he fumbled the ball a little bit, and I think Little Quakers overran him a little bit, and he cut back up and made all that yardage on his own.
You can see the tremendous athletic ability on this Delray Beach Rock squad. A fine-looking group of athletes. Ernest Graham, the quarterback, brings his team out. No relation to the former fine basketeer from Maryland, Terrapins. Graham wrapped up in the backfield. Graham having trouble with the snap from center, missed the handoff again, and good defensive play that time by the left tackle, Jim McColgan, Central High, Philadelphia, who wrapped up Graham and threw him down for a 5-yard loss back at the 40-yard line. It's going to bring up a 2nd and 15. The defense is stiffening. Again, Ray Dooney and Bill Resch deserve a lot of credit for the work that they do with this fine defensive unit for the Quakers. 2nd and 15. Graham marks the signals. Ball is snapped. The snap is fumbled again, and the Quakers missed the fumble. It appeared that one of the people at the bottom of the pile, Vagnoni, had his hands on it for a second. Or was it, excuse me, that was Schretzman. Eluded him and was fallen on by Bob Lewis, for the Rocks. So that's another opportunity missed by the Quakers, and it's hard to get any kind of offensive continuity when you can't handle that exchange.
Yeah, that's the 5th or 6th time that they fumbled the exchange or had trouble handing the ball off, and that one almost cost them dearly because the Quakers would have had great field position. Here we are again with another 3rd down situation. Sweep to the left.
Sweep to the left. McKinney is wrapped up and thrown down after very short yardage. On the tackle, the linebacker Jimmy Irvine, who showed very good pursuit and lateral movement, running all the way to the sideline from his linebacker position and meeting the ball carrier right at the line of scrimmage. No gain. 4th and 15. In the punt now from the sideline is Talbot. We may see him back at quarterback. Deep to receive for the Quakers. Intrury and Mike Donofrio. Talbot, it's a line drive kick. Fielded on one bounce by Intrury. He goes straight up the sideline looking for what he can get. Out over the 35 to the 39-yard line. Great pursuit by the green-clad Rocks of Delray Beach. Dressed in all green, the Rocks, 13-0, find themselves behind 3-0 to the Philadelphia Little Quakers. In at quarterback for the Quakers, seeing his first series on offense. Very fine technician, Joe Schoenlieber. I've had the pleasure of working with Joe Schoenlieber, and his ball handling and footwork is as fine as I've ever seen on a quarterback at age 14. Schoenlieber, second man through right side to Scott Webb, who is hit in the backfield, and only a good job of running by Webb gets the ball back to the line of scrimmage.
Schoenlieber, I've seen practicing myself, Bernie, and he does have that good quick footwork and good techniques. He reminds me a lot of our quarterback at Penn Charter, Brian McCluskey, who had a super year for us. Quakers hopefully can get something going in this drive, and then we'll really see how Delray reacts.
Peter Montague in at tight end. Schoenlieber running an option to the left is hit and thrown down. Pursuit from inside. The linebacker blitzing catches Schoenlieber from behind and hog ties him and throws him down. The Quakers were trying to run an option play to the wide side, and Schoenlieber could just never get out from the pack, get away from that blitzing linebacker. If they ever do get it outside, they're going to break a big one, Bill.
Yeah, that's how they got that first long gainer. They got outside and executed the option, but I think that's going to be difficult with their stunning. The stunning's a good way to stop the option, and that's exactly what Delray is doing.
Schoenlieber on a bootleg pass tries to go to the fullback in the flat, Miller, and under tremendous pressure, Schoenlieber did a heck of a job just to get the ball off, and it was a little bit behind Robert Miller, and the Rocks were in pretty good defensive position to make a hit even if the ball had been completed. Again, they came with tremendous pressure from the backside, blitzing all those linebackers and playing man-to-man in the secondary, and the Quakers can clean the line of scrimmage on one. It's going to result in big yardage. John Hale from Malvern, Havertown, into punt. Snapping the ball, Andy Garzinski, a 2-year player for the Quakers, and nearly blocked. Hale does a great job of getting the punt off. It goes down inside the 35 to the 34, and Glenn Hassett downs it there for the Quakers, and the Rocks will have it with 5 minutes remaining in the second quarter. Little Quakers on top 3-0 with timeout on the field. We'll take a timeout for this message. Back at Sid Lawn Field, this is Bernie Zabresny, and with me the head coach from the William Penn Charter School, Bill Gallagher, enjoying a vacation to Florida and enjoying a fine football game. The Rocks and the Quakers 3-0. Quakers on top, but fine, tough going. Graham fumbles the snap again. The ball is loose, bodies everywhere, and the official indicates that the Rocks have fallen on it. They're even going to gain a yard and make it 2nd and 9 as the ball is up over the 35 to the 36-yard line. And fortunately for the Quakers, this Delray team is having this kind of trouble offensively because they are doing the job very effectively on defense.
Yeah, their defense is doing a nice job, and their offense, once they do execute properly, has also been doing well. They've been running the ball mostly to the right in that short passing game, but there it is again, Bernie. The ball's on the ground again, and we got to get one of these fumbles here. There's no indication yet. It looks like, yes, Little Quakers football. Excellent field position at the 35-yard line.
Coming up with the ball, Joe Portella, who's having himself a fine evening. This is a beautiful evening for football. A little crisp by Florida standards, but it's beautiful by Philadelphia standards. Quakers find themselves in excellent field position in 4-down zone to start this drive at the 35-yard line.
I look for the Little Quakers, especially with this excellent field position, to run the ball right at the blitzing and stunning Delray Rocks. And if they can break one, as you mentioned earlier, Bernie, it's going to go a long way. There is nobody in center field.
Webb and McNeil. Gerald McNeil, the wideouts right. Schoenlieber goes up the gut to Hale, the fullback, who drives it inside the 30 to the 28-yard line. John Hale in for Robert Miller at the fullback position, taking it right up the middle with good hard running. Here comes Stanford Brown into the lineup, replacing Scott Webb with a play from Coach Henchmurray. To fill out the offensive coaching staff, Henchmurray and I work with the offensive backs. So we said Bill Ashmead and David Montgomery of the Phillies to work with the line. Harrison Clement, the receiver coach. Eddie Lawless does a great job with the centers and the kickers. F.D. Murphy, the special teams coach, in for this game from California. Donofrio off the right side, second man through, hit and wrapped up right at the 26-yard line. No gain at all. Second man through, and Donofrio is hurting. Donofrio took a terrific hit right in the midsection, and he is on his back on the field, and I'm sure it's just the wind being knocked out of him. Team doctor Wayne Hurtaby, team trainer Paul Butler on the field, along with assistant trainer and executive secretary of this organization, Laurie Kristiniak. What a terrific hit by that Rock defender, and I think it was Chris Ball who came up with that terrific hit.
Yeah, the Quaker runner was running a little bit up and down, trying to get outside. They were successful that first play, running right up the middle, and I think, Bernie, that's where they're going to have to stay. They're going to have to run right up the gut at this team and take what they can get. Their Delray Rock's lateral pursuit is outstanding. They've shown outstanding quickness in the first 3 series that Little Quakers have had the football, and I look for them to really keep that ball and just run straight up the field at this team. We're going to be in a short yardage situation coming up. It's going to be third and a yard, third a little less than a yard.
Mike Donofrio is able to leave the field, although he is holding his midsection. 3rd and 1 for the Quakers. They come out in a twins right formation, Garzinski and Brown. The running backs are Hale and Hassett behind Schoenlieber. Hassett goes up the middle to Hale, who has the first down, but a whistle is blown. It's going to be a procedure penalty against the Quakers. The same field judge who called the offsides earlier calls an offsides again, which is difficult for us to understand in the booth, but Bill Gallagher, maybe you saw it.
The only thing I think maybe could be, Bernie, is the Little Quakers come up on the count. They get up and get down, and they go on a quick count all the time. And maybe what the official is saying is that the Little Quaker lineman and the team is not set for that full second before the ball is snapped.
Schoenlieber now with 3rd and 6 has a slot right formation. He goes back to pass, has a man wide open, and he really was out there, and the ball is intercepted. Schoenleber had a man wide open, and as he went to deliver the football, he went on his back. The ball went straight up in the air, an interception by John Fenningham, and Fenningham took a tremendous hit after the interception. The Rocks defense comes up with a gem, and they hold the Quakers and take over at their own 29-yard line with 2:40 remaining in the first quarter. Talbot back in at quarterback now. Fumbles the snap. The ball is loose. The Rocks have it, but way back at the 20-yard line. I think the Rocks are going to spend the halftime taking snaps from center, Bill Gallagher.
Either that, I think they're going to be doing something. I think their coaches, they could not have gone 13-0 with this type of execution. Now, maybe they're a little uptight, a little nervous. Like I said, maybe they're not used to being down in the ball game. And even though it's only 3-0. They cannot afford another breakdown here. They got a nice break on the interception. But we'll see if they can get something going here. They're out in a tight set again with the wing left.
Talbot, the quarterback, hands on a sweep right to McKinney. McKinney puts on the afterburners up over the 30, 35, very close to the first down at the 39-yard line. And he stops the clock with 1:50 remaining in the second quarter. That's Otis McKinney with a tremendous burst of speed. Once he turned the corner, he showed us he can really run.
A lot of talent down there, as you mentioned before. That time they did get the corner turned. The Little Quaker cornerback got knocked down on the play on a fine block by Al Cifelli for the Delaware Rocks. And excellent speed on this team. Once they turned the corner, they were in a lot of trouble.
It's a first down for the Rocks on that beautiful run by McKinney. The Rocks have it 1st and 10 at their own 39-yard line. They shift from a bone formation to an I wing right. Graham, the quarterback. And there's a counter play and hit and thrown down. They tried to go to McKinney, and John Hale, a two-way performer for the Little Quakers, playing his defensive end position and reading his key very well, stayed at home and made a big hit. A loss of 5 yards back at the 35-yard line. McKinney was bulldogged down. And with 1:30 remaining in the first quarter, there's a timeout on the field by the Rocks, and we'll take a timeout for this message.
Action! Excitement! Join us for the greatest show in racing.
Come out and cash in on the action at Keystone Racetrack. Today, don't miss the $25,000 added Hobson handicap. First race daily, 12:30, Sunday, 1 p.m. No racing Thursdays.
Keystone, cash in on the action at Keystone. Thoroughbred action, Keystone. Racetrack, Keystone.
The Rocks are out with 2nd and 15. Now back to pass. Graham throws it out there, and the ball is overthrown. Incomplete. Tried to go on the crossing pattern this time. Robert Intrieri in excellent position on his coverage. They tried to go out to the wideout. Paul Fisher just overthrown.
That's that same delay pattern. They've shown that now, and I believe it's the only passing pattern they've shown. They just execute it very well, but that time a Little Quaker defense had made their adjustments when the offense was out in the field, and they were right there to cover it, and actually was almost intercepted.
3rd and 15. 1 minute remaining in the half. Handing it off to the right side to McLaughlin. McLaughlin turns the corner up over to the original line of scrimmage at the 40, and the clock continues to run. The Quakers call timeout with 45 seconds, but we'll keep it here. Bill Gallagher, this is quite a fine defensive contest, as the Quakers' offense has been thwarted at nearly every turn by the blitzing and stunning capers of this Rock defense. And to the contrary, or on the other hand, the Rocks have really stopped themselves, but you got to give the Quaker defense some credit. They just may have that offensive team shaken a bit.
Yeah, both defenses are playing real well. As you say, the Delray offense has been hurting themselves a little bit. So I look for something to try to get something going in one of the kicking games here, either the return or the Little Quakers calling a timeout with less than a minute left. The Delray Rocks have shown a little trouble getting their punting game off. The snaps haven't been that good. Maybe the Quakers will go after this punt. Right now, though, it looks like the officials up over the ball, ready to go, and it does not look like Delray is in the kicking. They're not going to punt. They're going to go for this, and it's 4th and 8, at least a long 8.
And Robert Curtis, an offensive back, is in the game. The ball is on the ground. The Quakers will take over at their own 40-yard line. Excuse me, at the Rock 40-yard line. Terrific break for the Quakers. The offensive team rushes onto the field into the 2-minute drill, coached so well by Hench Murray. Schoenlieber, the quarterback. Twins right are Garzinski and also Scott Webb. The offensive team is ready to go. The Rocks are slow to get back onto the field, and now the clock spins at 40 seconds. Schoenlieber, second man through right side to Glenn Hassett, who takes it down inside the 30, turns down inside the 25 to the 24-yard line. Good job of running by Glenn Hassett as the Quakers went to a little bit of a misdirection play. Started second man through left side, and he took it back against the grain to the right side and found excellent running room down to the 25-yard line.
Delray they weren't set. They were up there. They weren't on the field yet. And the officials even gave them a little extra time. The Little Quakers were out ready to go. And I think they were just back on their heels a little bit, Bernie. They quick hit and play there, went for good yardage. And the Little Quakers are down there now where another 10 yards or so could put the ball in Schoenlieber's range for a possible field goal.
First and 10 for the Quakers now at the 25-yard line. Schoenlieber has his team in a slot left formation. Hassett in the slot, the wideout Garzinski. The fullback is Tommy Stool. Stool from Doherty in Philadelphia. The right halfback, Scott Webb. Schoenlieber calls for the ball from center, and Quakers moved, but the ball was never snapped. Some confusion. It's going to be procedure against Philadelphia, taking the ball back to the 30-yard line, bringing up 1st and 15, and that penalty will not kill them with only 30 seconds. They've got to get the ball into the end zone one way or another. Schoenlieber, the quarterback. Dave Waskevich is the tight end. He is a favorite target of Schoenlieber.
Oh, God, that's a penalty.
And Waskevich is wide open. The ball is thrown out there. Waskevich has it, and he's into the end zone. Touchdown! Play-action pass. Beautiful fake by Schoenlieber, who under pressure unloaded the ball to Waskevich, who eluded the defensive back into the end zone. Touchdown. Beautiful job by Schoenlieber. Great job of coming back for the football by Waskevich.
That's going to be a real hurting to Delray. You can see they're down right now. Anytime you get scored on right before the half, Bernie, it just really gets you down mentally as you're going into the locker room. That was a nice play-action pass. I think the Quakers were lucky, a little fortunate there. I think that made a motion in the backfield that went unseen. But the points are on the board, and they can't take them off now.
Great job of just getting rid of the football by Schoenlieber, as again, the Rocks came with tremendous pressure by their linebackers, and they put Joe Schoenlieber right on the seat of his pants a second after he delivered the football. In fact, I don't think he was able to follow through with his pass, which resulted in it coming up a little short, and a great job by Dave Waskevich to come back for the football and make a circus-type catch, as he had people hanging over him by that time, caught it among a couple of defenders who had their arms up, and Dave Waskevich from Philadelphia, Father Judge, gets one on the board, and he's had a lot of touchdowns for Little Quakers this year on that same pass. Joe Schoenlieber now ready to attempt the extra point out of Mark Skozinski's hold, and the ball is a line drive, and it is missed. Joe Schoenlieber, who made a 24-yard field goal early in the game, missed on that extra point attempt, and the Quakers, with 22 seconds remaining in the first half, go on top 9-0 here in beautiful Delray Beach, Florida. The Little Quakers, during their visit here to Florida, are going to do some sightseeing. They have been on the Jungle Queen for a nice cruise last evening, a smorgasbord type arrangement with all the shrimp, chicken, and ribs they could eat. They're going to Lion Country. Tomorrow, they're making a real nice trip up to Disney World in Orlando, and that's going to be the highlight of the trip. Disney World is unbelievable. Schoenlieber has the ball on the tee, sets it down sideways. It's a squib kick. The ball hits the ground at the 40, and the Quakers recover. The Quakers have the football at the 34-yard line. Tremendous job on the coverage. See if we can get the number. Chris Morton came up with the recovery. The Quakers, with no timeouts, must go on the ball. Billy Lockhart is in, and he's going to take this snap. The Rocks are slow getting their adjustments made on the field. Garzinski is the wideout. Webb is in the slot. The up back is Robert Miller. The deep back is Glenn Hassett. Billy Lockhart with the fine arm. An excellent passing quarterback will try to get one on the board with only 20 seconds remaining. Lockhart back to throw, throws screen, pass, and the man is wide open. On the left sideline, Glenn Hassett. He's down inside the 20, 15. A flag is thrown. Hassett's inside the 10. He's down the 9-yard line. And a flag is thrown from about 40 yards away, Bill Gallagher. That, you talk about a flag on the road. That one came from the Bronx.
That one almost looked like it was dropped out of the air somewhere, Bernie. But looking at that official's number, he does have that high number on it, which usually means he's been working for a while. And as a matter of fact, that might be Walter Yost, who came down representing the Philadelphia area officials down here to do the job. And if that is, he might be looking for a ride back.
No question about that. The penalty drives the Quakers way back to the 45-yard line, puts them out of field goal range, and Billy Lockhart will load up the rifle and see what he can do. Lockhart back to pass. It's a special pass on a flea flicker, and the pass is thrown to Garzinski, who was going to lateral the ball on a flea flicker to Webb, and Garzinski just couldn't get it out of his cradle to Webb. It would have been easily 6 points, but a good hit just after the ball was received by Garzinski prevented a touchdown.
Yeah, he really didn't even receive the ball. It was right after he was trying to catch the ball in lateral all in one movement, and if he would have been able to do that, which we saw him do against the California team, I think that would have been an easy 6 points. I would look for him to come right back with it, Bernie. There's only 3 seconds left.
Webb on the slot. Hassett, second man through, left side. And he is hit after a gain of 5 yards. As you heard the gong, it's the end of the first half with the Philadelphia Little Quakers on top 9-0 over the Delray Beach Rocks. And we'll be back to discuss the first half of play and talk football generally. And we have a few guests here in the booth with us after this message.
This holiday season, dine at a Bucks County landmark, the Buck Hotel. Since 1735, the Buck Hotel has maintained its reputation as a premier dining spot. And it's not too early to plan your Christmas party at the Buck. Or you can make reservations for the New Year's Eve celebration. Phone the Buck Hotel at 357-1125. And keep in mind that the Buck serves lunches Monday through Saturday from 11:30 till 2:30. The Buck Hotel, Bustleton and Bridgetown Pikes, Feasterville. Don't pass the Buck.
Here at halftime from Sidlon Field in beautiful Delray Beach, Bill Gallagher, how about reviewing the scoring in the first half?
Well, as we thought, maybe with the Delray squad and the Little Quakers being unfamiliar with each other, Bernie, took a while for them to get their offense going. And it was not until the second quarter where all the points were scored. And early in the second quarter, we had the 24-yard field goal by Joe Schoenlieber. And then very late, in between, we had a lot of turnovers and real good hitting, very good defense by both squads until late in the second quarter, right before halftime, when we had the pass play set up from Schoenlieber, throwing to Wazinski from Philadelphia's Father Judge for the score. And that's where we are right now at halftime with the score, the Little Quakers 9 and the Delray Rock 0.
Well, it takes a Polish boy like Zabrzny to pronounce Wazakevich.
All right, that's him, huh?
Dave Wazakevich on the reception. 29 years for the Little Quakers, and Bill Gallagher being a head coach at an Interact school, I think you may be able to, and formerly at Chestnut Hill Academy where you were highly successful, I think you are in a good position to discuss this program and the opportunities created for many of the boys who do make the Little Quaker squad.
Well, Bernie, I believe that the Little Quakers originally started out, they were predominantly, the members of the squad were predominantly from the Interact schools. And since then, they spread out, and they now have tryouts, and they bring people from as far away as New Jersey over interested in playing for the Little Quakers. I think it's a little misconceived that the Little Quakers program is a feeder program for strictly Penn Charter or strictly for the Interact schools, and that's not the case. As you can see, we have quite a few boys here from Judge McDevitt from the Catholic League. We have people here from the Public League. players. And we do have a number here from the Interacts. We're still a lot of Interact players here. I believe there's 8 players from Malvern, 2 from Episcopal, and we have 4 from our own school here at Penn Charter. But what this actually affords the players from the area is just an opportunity to play some ball with, meet some other players from around the city that they might be playing against. A Tommy Pree from North, for example, playing against or playing with some of the boys from Judge, and you had the freshmen from Malvern and Episcopal playing with on the same team with the Charter boys. But it's a great opportunity for them to travel, play some good football, and we do expose them to Interact League schoolings and the academic opportunities that are available to the boys in Interact. You know, some of the boys might not even be aware. I mean, I'm a product of Father Judge myself, and I wasn't too familiar with the Interact League. And this gives them an opportunity to meet some of the boys from the Interact and to find out what the Interact schools are like, and just a great educational opportunities that we have here at our schools.
Well, thank you, Bill. I think that was very well put. And, of course, in addition to the football and the experience with their teammates, this team travels and has traveled for many, many years and has been as far away as Hawaii. Next year, I understand a trip is planned to Tokyo to play. Has been to California, to New Orleans many times, Tucson, and just about every year down here to Florida, which the coaches really enjoy because it gives us an opportunity to play golf. But when we travel, in most instances, these kids stay in the homes of the teams that they're playing, and that is a tremendous educational experience for them to travel around the country and see how contemporaries of theirs live all over the country. And in addition, when teams come in and play Philadelphia last 2 weeks ago, when the California team came in, when the New Orleans team came in, they stay in the homes of the Little Quakers. And again, that's something that is of tremendous educational and social value to them, and something they will remember all of their lives. In addition, one thing that is probably the highlight of the program that you may be able to tell us about, and that is the scholarship award to one of these players.
Well, we at Penn Charter do have a Fox Scholarship, which is available based on financial need to a member of the Little Quaker squad who qualifies academically for admittance into Penn Charter. All the Interact schools have aid based on financial need. And I think it's a great opportunity for people who are really looking for the smaller classrooms, looking for their sons and daughters at a couple schools, and it will soon be the case at Penn Charter at the higher levels, to have an opportunity to really be in a very advantageous learning situation. And the Fox Scholarship is one opportunity that we do give to a boy from Penn Charter, and if it goes to a boy this year that is anything like the boys that we have at school right now, Brian McCluskey, our quarterback, was a member of the Fox Scholarships. Our linebacker, Doug Hawkins, defensive nose guard, John Fabi, and our running back, John Smith. All 4 spread out over 3 different years. All 4 were starters and played an integral part of our successful season this year at Penn Charter.
Okay, Bill, we're at halftime with the Quakers on top 9-0, and here in the booth with us is one of the Little Quakers coaches who has been spending some time on the West Coast. That's Jim F.D. Murphy. And Murph, I'll tell you, the instructions that you have passed along from the coast regarding special team play has been carried out very well here by Harrison Clement and some of the others who have been filling in your absence.
First of all, Bernie, I'd like to say hello to all my friends in the Delaware Valley, and I'd also like to compliment you on your call for that touchdown pass. If the audience at home didn't realize it, well, the conversation is going on about the game. Bernie yells over to Goose Clement to throw the pass to the right side deep, and they'll get a touchdown. 2 plays later, it's a touchdown, Little Quakers. Bernie, the Little Quakers team looks pretty impressive. They have a little trouble getting started, but it looks like the second half is going to be all Little Quakers.
Well, this is a tremendous Little Quakers team, Jim. You've, of course, this is the first game you've seen this year, but this is my 10th year with the squad, and over those 10 years, we've lost 4 games and tied 1, and, lost 3 games and tied 1, and I guess we won about 48, and this is far and away the best Little Quakers team that I've been involved with. And I want you to know that we as coaches have missed having you on board for the full season, but we're going to have some fun this weekend.
Oh, Barry, we'll just go to the little spa there. We're actually relaxation, nothing very serious at all. But I have to say, it really is a pleasure to come from San Francisco to see the Little Quakers game. I don't think we've had many other visitors coming clear across the country to see Little Quakers play, but I will be here every year for at least one Little Quakers game. I can guarantee you that.
Well, Murph, it's nice to have you, but as a guest at halftime, but our other halftime guest is much better looking than you are, and that is Fran Savran, who works in Philadelphia and who is also down here in...
I'd also like to say hello to fabulous Fran Savran.
Fran, welcome to the broadcast, and how are you enjoying yourself?
So far, it's pretty good, Bernie.
Now, you have the reputation as being the football expert in the Bob Levy office. That is his staff at DRT Industries and Unitank. So I know that you are the specialist in the office football pools, of which everyone in Philadelphia participates, and you win more than your share. So I know you know football, and I think you're enjoying this game.
It's really a good game, Bernie. I'm watching Del Rey come out on the field, and they look down. They don't seem to have the same spark they had at the beginning of the first half.
It's difficult when you have a team that's 13-0. They probably haven't been behind all season, and as happened with the California squad we played a few weeks ago, they got behind and kind of folded up the tents early, but maybe this team is just relaxing a little bit, and they may get some juices flowing when that whistle blows for the second half.
Well, we'll hope not.
Okay, Fran. Thanks for being with us. Well, that will conclude our halftime festivities, and we will be back with the second half kickoff after this message.
Your home investment is MAB.
When you're buying paint, remember, there is a big difference. MAB is the best paint you can buy. It's been test-proven time and time again. So remember, if you value your time, your money, and your home, MAB is the best investment you can make.
Cause your home investment is always MAB.
For your shopping convenience, all Hess's stores will be open tomorrow from 10 a.m. till 8 o'clock. Shop Hess's for all of your holiday gifts. They're open Sunday 10 till 8. Happy holidays from Hess's. It's 2:05. You're listening to WBUX Doylestown.
We're ready for the third quarter kickoff, and it is hit by Graham. Fielded on the run, up the left side by Entreri. Entreri turns it to the outside and gets it up to the 35-yard line. And where he's run out of bounds, Quakers will have pretty good field position to start the second half. Again, we'll quickly set the Quaker offense. Dave Lazakevich with a TD pass at tight end. The split end, Andy Garzinski. The tackles, Ed Small and Dennis Morgan. The guards, Chris Riley and Mike Ciambella. The center, Charles Wirtz. The quarterback, starting in the second half, Billy Lockhart. The fullback, Robert Miller. Glenn Hassett will start at tailback, and Scott Webb at the wingback. Hassett running right on a sweep. Makes a good move back to the inside and gets it up over the 35 to the 36-yard line. Nice. Give the hip and take it away there by Glenn Hassett.
There's the outside play, which we thought they would have difficult getting, and they got 5 yards on that one, but it was mainly due to a nice little dip by Hassett there, and left the Del Rey defender on the outside, cut it back inside for 5 good yards. Not a bad first down play. Interesting bit of strategy there, Bernie, that Del Rey, who had the option this first half, elected to defend the goal, and the Little Quakers wanted to go have that win in the fourth quarter.
Quick pitch this time to Stan Brown, who has some running room. He gets it out to the 37-yard line and just came within one tackler of possibly breaking that for some pretty good yardage. There's the quick pitch. Pulling the tackle in at the right tackle is Jim Lampy from North Wales and North Penn Junior High. Also in is Mike Gill from Pendle and the Neshaminy Langhorne. Billy Wheeler is now the center, coming in for Charles Wirtz here in the second half. And I know Coach Bill Ashmead was not real pleased with the performance of his offensive line in the first half. Bone formation. Lockhart goes second man through right side to Hassett, who has a nice running lane up over the 45. Out near midfield and down right on the midfield stride. Glenn Hassett, second man through right side, behind some fine blocks on the right side by Lampy, Ciambella, and the lead blocker, Stan Brown. Excuse me, that was Webb. Scott Webb was the lead blocker. And coming in now are Ganell Hudson, running back from Lincoln High in Philadelphia, and Stan Brown from Malvern Prep.
I'm wondering if they didn't see something at halftime, Bernie, that told them to run right a little bit. That's 3 plays this half. All 3 have been directed to the right side, and with a good bit deal of success.
Tight slot formation. This time they go to Ganell Hudson, and Ganell Hudson is hit and wrapped up in the backfield. Mike Gill attempting to get out front on a trap block. Did throw a block, but there was too much penetration by the offside linebacker who cut Ganell Hudson in the backfield. Throws him down for a 1-yard loss back at the 49-yard line, where the Quakers will have it 2nd and 11. 9:45 remaining in the third quarter. Second half action just underway. Little Quakers on top, 9-0. Wazakevich, the tight end. Andy Garzinski, split right. Webb in the slot. Counter action, and the ball is loose. The ball is loose, and the fumble is recovered by the Quakers. The officials are ruling that the Quakers covered that fumble, and that was a near costly turnover.
I think the only reason the Delray player didn't come up with that is that that was Jim McMonigle tried to pick up the ball for Delray and run with it. Now, I guess you can run the fumbles down at this level with the Federation rules, but if he would have he had an easy chance to fall on the ball, but in his attempt to run with it, he allowed the Little Quaker time to recover his own fumble. It's now be third and 15 for Little Quakers.
Little Quakers are now out in a double slot formation. Lockhart throws the ball down the middle and overthrows the intended receiver. Overthrowing Glenn Hassett, who was running a seam pattern down the middle. And that's going to bring in the punting team. John Hale. John Hale is in punt formation, and Curtis Payton is deep to receive for Delray. Hale hits a booming punt, rolls down inside to 20, inside to 15, still rolling back inside to the 11-yard line, where the ball rolls dead. The ball is dead, and a new running back will enter the game for Delray Beach, Phil Maroney. The Rocks will put it into possession for their first series in the second half, with 9.5 minutes remaining in the third quarter.
I think it's important for Delray here, particularly back here at this bad field position they have back at their own 10-yard line, to establish some kind of continuity in their offense, a little bit better execution. We'll see what their coaching staff had to say with the boys and what effect it has on them as they come out here for their first series of the second half, trailing 9-0.
The Rocks stay in their tight T formation. Handing wide to Akins. Akins turns it up inside, gets it out to the 20-yard line on a fine run. Running sweep left and turning it back with a good burst of speed. Akins picks up 9 yards and call it 8 yards. Nearly broke it. Didn't catch the number of the Quaker on the hit that time. I believe it was Todd Pride, the right cornerback.
And it's a good thing Todd did come up and make that stop, because he was the last Little Quaker there, and with the speed that these backs from Delray's have been exhibiting, it would have been a long touchdown run. So they're in good position for their first with their first down play, and here they are, second and short. Line up in wing left, and they give a quick hitter up the middle, and that's Jim McGill, and he's running for some good yardage too. It looks like they had the first down.
First down over the 25 to the 26-yard line, and the Rocks apparently have been able to solve the problems they were having handling the snaps from center. They've gotten off 2 in a row here and picked up a first down against the Little Quaker defense. We'll set them again. Shretzman and Vagnoni the ends. Joe Portella and Jim McCullogan the tackles. Chris Lamplou the nose guard. The backers, Jimmy Irvine and John Miller. And Trary and Pride the corners. Clark the monster. Morton the safety. T formation, and I spoke too soon, Bill. They fumbled the snap from center and just fall on it, and boy, nothing can take you out of a drive quicker than a busted play like that.
Well, we saw they executed twice. They got the handoffs off properly, and they gained some yardage. And now here they go with the fumble from the exchange again. And luckily, that's about the 10th time that happened this in tonight's game, Bernie. But I think they've recovered all but one of them.
There's an educational process going on in the blackboard on the opposite side of the field as Bill Ashmead and Bob Levy have their offensive forces getting ready. Play action pass. Graham throws out in the flat, has his man. The ball is completed up over the 35 to the 36-yard line. Very close to the first down. On that reception, Casey Murray. Casey Murray on the reception up at the 36-yard line, and a beautiful throw by Graham.
Yeah, Chris Ball was a wide receiver that time, and he ran down, cleared out the area, and Casey Murray just cut underneath him there and was wide open for the catch and made a nice diving catch on it. It's very close to the first down. I don't know if they're going to measure or not. It appears to be a little short from here.
They are going to measure and bring the chains all the way across the field, so we'll take a timeout for this message.
Action! Excitement! Join us for the greatest show in racing.
Come out and cash in on the action at Keystone Racetrack. Today, don't miss the $25,000 added Hobson handicap. First race daily, 12:30, Sunday, 1 p.m. No racing Thursdays.
Keystone, cash in on the action at Keystone. Thoroughbred action, Keystone. Racetrack, Keystone.
Bill, you were absolutely right. It is short of the first down, and here come the Rocks in a third and about half a yard. Flanker right formation, backs open behind Graham. First down on a straight ahead dive and a good thrust by the right side of the Rock line. First down for the Rocks up at the 37-yard line. This is their second first down in this drive and starting to get some offensive momentum going.
Well, anytime you go 13-0, Bernie, you don't do that without some kind of offense and a good defense. Your defense is shown to be good, but you got to put those points on the board too, and they're showing now maybe why they've gone 13-0. They're pushing the ball, they're hitting the ball hard, or they're hitting it up the middle, and they're sweeping around the ends.
Quakers starting to jam up the defense, and another fumbled snap. The ball is loose. Philadelphia comes up short. The Rocks fall on it again, this time for a loss of 6 yards back at the 33-yard line, and a penalty marker has been thrown. And I think that is going to be a dead ball foul going against the Rocks. It's going to be a big one. A 15-yarder, unsportsmanlike conduct. Somebody had something to say that the official didn't care for. Takes it way back inside the 20 to the 18-yard line. And I think Gene Conlon was fingered for that penalty.
Yes, Bernie, again, there was a problem with the handoff. The ball flew up in the air. I thought the Little Quakers might have had that. But, again, this Delray squad here being down 9-0, maybe they're not used to it, and just a little frustration came out there.
Second and a bundle. The Rocks run sweep to the short side, give it to that fine back Akins. Akins turns it up over the 25, over the 30 to the 31-yard line. Good tackle. We're waiting for them to unpile. The bottom of the pile for the Quakers is Pat Delaney. Bill Resch now has some new people in that defensive backfield. Pat Delaney, Joe Nolan, Jeff Bass, and Mark Skaczynski now in the ball game in the secondary for the Quaker defense. Give you some of those reserve men up front who we may not have mentioned. Mike Schrager at an end, and Dale Gallagher, a defensive tackle. Andy Killen, Northeast High and nose guard. Jim Dugan and Tommy Preeb, all doing a fine job in there for the Quakers. Third and not quite as big a bundle, but the Rocks are in trouble. Second man through right side, cross buck action, struggling with a good piece of running to pick up 5 yards to the 35-yard line. That was Ed Enoch into the game. What a host of running backs for the Rocks. They just bring in racehorse after racehorse here, and all of them with fine speed, good-looking athletes, and they're faced with a punting situation here. But for that 15-yard penalty, they would have had enough yards for the first down.
Yeah, Little Quakers were fortunate there, but it was Delray brought that on themselves with losing their cool a little bit. Back to receive the punt now is a favorite of my three children, Megan, Jenny, and Billy Gallagher back in Philly. Pat Delaney from Penn Charter, who they have the opportunity to see during the practice, and let's hope Pat gets a chance to return one.
Also back with him, Robert Curtis, and there's a high punt, but it is short. The ball is going to drop, and it takes a Rock bounce. Rolling from the 40, inside the 30, inside the 25, all the way down to the 21-yard line. And that was a costly decision to allow that ball to hit and roll. The Rocks picked up 20 yards on the roll, and Billy Lockhart brings his offensive team onto the field, and Philadelphia is going without a huddle. They're going right up and lining on the ball and not giving the Rocks an opportunity to set up, and anything could happen. Lockhart without a huddle. Has Miller is up back. Goes on a counter play, this time giving the ball to Glenn Hassett, who drives it up to the 29-yard line. Gain of 8 yards for Glenn Hassett, who's doing some fine running, heavy-duty running, ever since the loss of Mike Donofrio, who we certainly hope is not injured seriously. Mike, taking a hard hit to the ribs in the first half, was down for a while, but did leave the field under his own power. 2nd and 3. Bill Wheeler over the ball at center. Lockhart, the quarterback. Hale, the fullback. To Hale up the middle on the gut play. Cracking up near the first down to the 32-yard line. On the tackle, Bruce Gladhorn for the Rocks. Makes a good hit. Very close to the first down, and the officials are going to take timeout for a measurement again to bring the chains all the way across the field, and we'll take a timeout for this commercial message.
Sunset Memorial Park, set on 200 acres in beautiful Bucks County, is dedicated to the respectful care of the deceased and to the inspiration of the living. Its dignified memorials of imperishable bronze are set level with the lawn, thus providing a scenic and uncluttered environment, one that can be an abiding haven of comfort for surviving family and friends. We invite you to talk with our staff for further information. Our administration building is open daily from 9 to 5. Sunset Memorial Park, County Line Road in Feasterville.
Short of the first down, Wheeler comes out. It's 2 wideouts right. Fred Krupp and Webb goes to the up back. This time it's Miller, and Miller has the first down out to the 34-yard line. Robert Miller with good hard running. Miller, a 2-year player for Little Quakers. Garzinski, a 2-year player. Lockhart, Donofrio, having a solid nucleus of returning players, has provided the leadership and experience for a very, very successful season. Quakers on the move at the 34-yard line. Krupp and Webb, the wideouts right. Hale, the fullback. Billy Lockhart goes to the first man, the up back. That was John Hale, who picks up but 1 yard. First man through. Gerald McNeil coming in at an end position, replacing Krupp, as Coach Clement shuttles plays with his ends.
We only have a minute and a half left in this third quarter as both teams are settling down a little bit and more going right at each other. And the ball's been staying on the ground and the clock's been running. Second back through on the right side. For the Little Quakers, Glenn Hassett is dropped for after a 2 or 3 yard gain as the pursuit from Jack Plunkett and Jim Talbot was excellent. And it's going to be 3rd and 7 for the Little Quakers.
Excellent time to throw a screen pass in a passing situation here, and there is a timeout on the field, and with that timeout, we'll pause for this message.
Tradition is something that is always evident around the holidays. And like the traditional symbols of mistletoe and holly, candles and Christmas trees, the Buck Hotel remains a traditional dining spot for many Bucks Countyans. And you know, it's not too early to plan your Christmas party at the Buck. For reservations, call 357-1125. And keep in mind that the Buck has dining and dancing every Friday and Saturday night. The Buck Hotel, Bustleton and Bridgetown Pikes in Feasterville. Don't pass the Buck.
Back at Sidlawn Field, Little Quakers face a 3rd and 7 situation. Lockhart goes off the left side to Hale, and the ball is loose, and it falls into the hands of a guard. Mike Ciambella, who was out leading the play, is running like a back, carrying people down inside the 40 to the 33-yard line. Mike Ciambella, Johnny on the spot, recovered a fumble in midair, and in this league, at Federation rules, you're permitted to advance the ball, and he really looked like a running back.
He looked like a fullback on that play, and he just drug little number 22, Steve Bonney. He drugged Steve Bonney for about 20 extra yards. Maybe the backfield coach will see that, Bernie, and put a little guard around play, or put him at fullback for a little running play. But the Quakers are back in good field position now. They're up to Delray's 30, and hopefully we can stay in this drive, and really put the nails in the coffin for Delray.
Second man through right side, Hassett takes it down inside the 30, continues to drive, the ball is fumbled. Delray recovers the ball in midair. He's in to lose it to 40, to the 45-yard line, and a flag is down. I think it's going to be a face mask against Miller, who saves a touchdown. But the ball was recovered in midair, exchanging the favor. Delray Beach, having seen it go against them on the first occasion, here recovers one, and only the speed of Robert Miller saved the touchdown. He made the tackle, grabbed onto the face mask in doing so, but prevented the touchdown. On that return, did you have the number, Bill? Catching that ball, that fumble in midair and returning it?
Yeah, that was number 44, Paul Fisher. And we do have the penalty here. We have a face mask against the Quakers. We have a personal foul clip against the Delray, offsetting penalties. I do believe they will hold on to the ball, though. Delray should retain possession at that point. It was a similar play to the one the Little Quakers just advanced on, where the fumble ball popped up in the air. I actually thought the play was dead, but the whistle did not blow. The Delray players continued and went after the ball the way they should, and came up with it, stripped the ball, and had a nice return on the play.
The Rocks will take possession as this third quarter is coming to an end. Only 16 seconds remaining. The Rocks have it at their own 30-yard line. Quaker defense looking for the run. Backers up in very tight. It's a sweep right to McKinney. McKinney turns it the corner and gets to the 35-yard line, and that is going to be the final play of this third quarter, with the Little Quakers on top, 9-0. We'll be back with fourth quarter football after this message.
Home investment is MAB.
When you're buying paint, remember, there is a big difference. MAB is the best paint you can buy. It's been test-proven time and time again. So remember, if you value your time, your money, and your home, MAB is the best investment you can make.
Cause your home investment is always MAB.
Beginning of the fourth quarter, Delray Beach, 2nd and 8. Straight back to pass. Here's Graham under pressure, hog-tied and thrown down. Beautiful blitz. That time, I believe it's Joe Portella. Joe Portella, defensive tackle from the offside, comes in and makes the sack. Mike Schrager's in there now at an end. Vagnoni at the other end. Portella, Killen, and Gallagher, the down linemen. The backers are Tommy Preeb and Dugan. That loss takes the ball back the whole way to the 26-yard line, brings up 3rd and 14 for the Rocks, who have got to try and get a score on the board. Here comes a sweep to Otis McKinney. McKinney is out over the 35 to the 36-yard line. He's going to pick up 10, but still be shy of the first down by a few, and it's going to bring up 4th and 4. Decision time for the Rock head coach, Woodrow Wilson. Coach Wilson has made his decision, and he is going to go for it in the fourth quarter, deep in his own territory. And a penalty marker is down. Penalty marker down, and it's going to be procedure against the Rocks. And now, instead of 4th and 4, they're going to face a 4th and 9. Now, Bill Gallagher, is he going to kick it or really gamble?
I thought he was going to kick it the first time, Bernie. It's just too early in the fourth quarter. There's plenty of time down. They're only down 9 points. I definitely look for them to kick, and if I were Little Quakers, I might even go after this. They've had trouble with the snap and getting the snap back to the punter. We'll see what happens. Either way, the Little Quakers should come up with some good field position.
Pat Delaney and Robert Curtis deep to receive for the Quakers. Good snap this time, and it is a fake. And he will not make it. He is wrapped up and thrown down. Good defensive play by David Clark, along with Portella and Preeb and Todd Pride all in there. Tremendous defensive pursuit by the Quakers as the Rocks, from punt formation, tried to run a sweep with the kicker carrying the ball, and
Going on the huddle again.
the Quakers are going without a huddle. Two wideouts right. There's a procedure penalty against the Quakers. Schoenlieber delivers a strike down the field to Curtis, and it's going to be a touchdown, but it's going to be called back. Joe Schoenlieber threw a beautiful strike to Robert Curtis, who ran an out and up, and Curtis has no one to blame but himself because he was the one guilty from his wideout position of jumping. And the procedure penalty will call back probably the prettiest touchdown pass of the year for Quakers.
Yeah, he hit him out. He made a little out cut to the sideline and down, and Schoenlieber threw the ball right on the money. It was a beautiful pass and catch play for the score, but it is going to be called back. And for those young players out there viewing, the wide receiver should never go on the count. He should always just be looking in and going on the ball when he sees the ball snapped. And unfortunately for the Quakers, that wasn't the case here. And we'll see if they can't do it again. Maybe they'll come right back with it, Bernie.
Schoenlieber, the quarterback, Wheeler, the center, Garzinski and Curtis, the wideouts right, Miller and Hassett, the running backs. Wazkiewicz is the tight end. There's the blitz, and there's a screen pass, and Hassett has it with a host of blockers. Hassett down inside the 30 to the 25-yard line. Good play by the Quakers. Very well executed screen, and what a balancing act by Glenn Hassett as he made a super job of getting that football and pulling it in as Schoenlieber delivered it under tremendous pressure, and Hassett made a circus catch with one hand.
Yeah, that's excellent execution by the Little Quakers. I mean, this is really a finely coached squad. The coaches do an excellent job, and it's just a fine group of athletes there. Schoenlieber did a nice job getting it off. Hassett looking the ball in, and if it wasn't for a saving tackle by Bobby Lewis coming from behind, that would have been another score.
Twins right again. Here comes Schoenlieber again looking to pass. Throws the same out and up route this time, and it's overthrown. Excellent defensive work that time by Murray, Casey Murray. The cornerback did an excellent job of playing the out and up this time, and Robert Curtis was well covered. A good play call there with second and short, and now the Quakers still have 2 downs to get the 3 yards necessary for the first down, and 3rd and 3.
Now look for the Little Quakers coming back here and run the ball right at them here. It's third and about 3. And the Little Quakers, they get this first down and score here, or early in the 4th quarter could really put the thing away. It's a second back through, and he's tripped up there by Jim McMonagle on a nice tackle with penetration again. This Delray squad has shown a lot of blitzing and stunning and good penetration, and that's the times that they have thwarted the Quakers in their drives. Now we're facing, Bernie, a 4th and 5 situation.
Excellent defensive work by the Rocks as they were submarining and penetrating, and they got to Ganell Hudson before he could get any running room. Joe Schoenlieber with the 2 wideouts right, Curtis and Garzinski. Throws a curl back to Garzinski, and it's going to be interference. An excellent call by the officials as Andy Garzinski, all the officials saw that one. That was a full 2 seconds before the ball arrived, and good job by Schoenlieber delivering it on the run, and a good job curling up and coming back for the football by Andy Garzinski.
Delray now is in trouble down there, and I think under Federation rules, this is a 15-yard penalty from the line of scrimmage where the point of the foul was only 10 yards deep. This could move the ball down to inside the 15-yard line for the Little Quakers. And with the score now 9-0, a score here would really put Delray in some deep trouble as far as keeping their record unblemished. They do spot the ball just inside the 15-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Little Quakers.
Tremendous break for the Quakers, and penalty really helping out on this drive. Fred Kroot, the wide out left. Schoenlieber goes on a sweep right to Hassett, who is wrapped up in the backfield, and these Rocks are just pouring in through the offensive line of the Quakers. Scott Webb is going to bring in a play from Coach Hench Murray. Really tough sledding for the offense. This Rock defense giving him fits. Schoenlieber back to throw the play-action pass into the end zone, going for Wazkiewicz, and Wazkiewicz is very well covered, and the ball is overthrown. Quakers out with 3rd and 12. Schoenlieber, the quarterback, gives it on a quickie up the gut to Hale, and Hale's inside the 15 to the 14-yard line. Back across the original line of scrimmage, and the Quakers are going to attempt a field goal Joe Schoenlieber in at quarterback goes to the sideline to put on his kicking shoe, and he is going to have one that will measure approximately 30 yards. And with 9:35 remaining, the Quakers have called a timeout, and we'll take a timeout for this message.
Action! Excitement! Join us for the show in Wednesday.
Come out and cash in on the action at Keystone Racetrack. Today, don't miss the $25,000 added Hobson handicap. First race daily, 12:30, Sunday, 1 p.m. No racing Thursdays.
Keystone, cashing the action at Keystone. The red action, Keystone. Racetrack, Keystone.
Joe Schoenlieber in field goal position, kicking out of Skaczynski's hold. The kick is up, and it is perfect. Joe Schoenlieber with his third field goal of the season, second of the game, puts the Little Quakers on top 12-0. Beautiful kick by Schoenlieber, and we're going to keep it right here. That'll give the offensive team a bit of a shot in the arm, but they are really struggling out there, Bill.
Well, it's not so much they're struggling. I think that Delray defense, like I said before, they don't go 13-0 without having some kind of defense there. And this is a stunning, slanting type defense that gives you a lot of trouble. They'll throw you for negative yardage here and there, but then if you do bust one, you're going to bust it big. And the Little Quakers have been fairly consistent with their plays. They've been taking that no gain or 2-yard loss, but then they've been breaking one for 7-8. And that was a nice drive for Little Quakers, and it was good they came away with something there instead of driving down that far and coming away with nothing. I think Delray looks a little down now. We'll see if they can't get a drive going here. They have to do something. 9 minutes left in the game, and they're down 12-0. I'm sure they're not used to being in this situation.
Schoenlieber has the ball teed, and he hits a good one. Driving McKinney back inside the 10. The ball hits and is loose at the 5. McKinney starts up the middle, turns to the right, up over the 15. Running ladder, he hit and dragged down Bass, Jeff Bass, in on the hit, together with Chris Morton. Excellent coverage by Bass and Morton down at the 14-yard line, and the Rocks are starting to drag it a little bit. A lot of these kids have been going both ways for the Rocks, and they appear to be tired.
Well, they got a long way to go. They're going to have to go 85 yards here for this drive, and the way that they've been showing the inconsistency, I don't know that they're going to be able to do that, Bernie. They're going to have to break along when I think is their only chance, and I think the Quakers are going to be back trying to prevent that.
Well, with the kind of explosive running backs that this team has, they certainly have the capabilities of breaking a couple of big ones. And, of course, that field goal did not put the game out of reach. Here comes McKinney running right, hit in the backfield and thrown down, but there is a penalty marker. Thrown down on a beautiful defensive tackle by Charles Schretzman and Jim McColgan, the left defensive end and tackle. 2nd and 12 for the Rocks. Out of the huddle, straight back to pass is Graham. He unloads a bomb down the middle. It is overthrown. No, it is not overthrown. A great play by the receiver. Catches up to the football, but it's incomplete on a fine defensive play, that time by Pat Delaney. Philadelphia, the Penn Charter School, putting his nose on that pigskin and breaking it up. Tremendous speed shown by that receiver as somehow he caught up to the football. It appeared to me that it was going to be 10 yards overthrown.
That looked like one in the backs. That's Mike Iorio. It might have been swung out of the backfield there. It looked like there was no one in that area, and then all of a sudden, boom, there was Mike, and luckily Delaney got there at the same time the ball did and knock it loose. They're faced now with a long third down situation.
Just a stable of running backs for the Rocks. Straight back to pass is Graham. He hoists another way down the field. The ball is batted down. Beautiful defensive work by Mark Skaczynski from Telford up in the Bucksmont area. St. Maria Goretti. Mark Skaczynski goes up the ladder and bats it down, and now the Rocks are faced with a 4th and 11 from back at their own 13-yard line. And I'm sure they're going to step back in punt formation and air it out. Let's see if the Quakers go for the punt block here with 7.5 minutes remaining in the football game. Delray Beach punting from its own end zone. Jim Talbot back in to do the punting chores. We saw Talbot early in the game at quarterback, and since then we've only seen him as a punter. There's penalty markers down on the field again. That procedure penalty sends Talbot into his own end zone, and he gets a kickoff, and it is a wobbly kick, and it is rolling at the 10-yard line. The ball is fielded by one of the defensive linemen for the Quakers, Joe Portella, and he returns it back inside the 5-yard line. Quaker offense gets a tremendous break as Talbot, trying to punt from his own end zone, had to go up the ladder to try to field a high snap from center, was under tremendous pressure by the Quaker defensive line, and he went off the side of his foot. Quakers again going without a huddle, have the ball at the 5-yard line. Here's a play to Scott Webb. The ball is loose and he falls on it back at the 7-yard line. Great hit. Terrific hit by the center of that Delray Beach line, and they have some studs up front. Robert Curtis coming in with a play from Hench Murray.
That was a nice play by that middle nose guard. That's Major McDonald from the Delray Rocks. And it was almost very costly because we fouled the ball there a little bit, but fortunately we recovered. Boy, we stick one in here, Bernie, and I think it's all over.
Joe Schoenlieber rolls right, and he wants to throw a flood pass. He throws into the end zone, and he threw to the wrong receiver. Joe Schoenlieber had the flood back wide open on the sideline, and just a bad decision, poor judgment by Joe, as he had Glenn Hassett wide open on the sideline. And now the Quakers are hurrying into and out of the huddle, trying to catch this Rock defense before it has a chance to set up, and Quakers are coming back with the same formation and exactly the same play, and this time they have Hassett again wide open, and this time Schoenlieber goes to the wrong man again. Unbelievable set of events here.
Well, Bernie, I think it's difficult with the rush that Schoenlieber's getting from this Delray squad, and he's not picking up his receivers as well. He's not picking up his secondary. He seems to be focused in both times on one receiver, and on both situations you mentioned, the other receiver was open. So now he's going to drop back and see if he can kick a field goal from here.
Joe Schoenlieber attempts his third field goal of the night, and it is blocked, and it is fielded on the run by a Rock, who laterals the ball forward, and now it's Keystone Cup time. The ball is loose at the 30-yard line, penalty markers everywhere, and that is one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
First of all, I thought the Delray defender was back there waiting for the snap to come back to the field goal kicker. He was in the backfield before the ball was snapped. He then did block the punt, picked it up. So another Delray defender, number 22 there, John Franingham, picked it up and started to go with it, and he tried to lateral or literally throw the ball forward to one of his teammates 10 yards downfield who was leading interference for him. And we'll see what the officials can find out of this jumble.
That was a throwback to the old spot pass that you play in your backyard in street football. Well, there is a major conference on the field with 6:44 remaining in the fourth quarter. The officials are trying to figure out what's happening, and we'll take a pause for this message.
This holiday season, dine at a Bucks County landmark, the Buck Hotel. Since 1735, the Buck Hotel has maintained its reputation as a premier dining spot. And it's not too early to plan your Christmas party at the Buck. Or you can make reservations for the New Year's Eve celebration. Phone the Buck Hotel at 357-1125. And keep in mind that the Buck serves lunches Monday through Saturday from 11:30 till 2:30. The Buck Hotel, Bustleton and Bridgetown Pikes, Feasterville. Don't pass the Buck.
In some strange fashion, the officials have figured out that the Quakers are going to get the ball after the blocked field goal attempt, where the Delray player, upon trying to return the block kick, threw the ball forward. They call an illegal forward pass, give the Quakers the ball at the 28-yard line for a first down, and it'll take some time to figure this one out. Billy Lockhart is in at quarterback. Robert Curtis, a running back, together with Glenn Hassett and Robert Miller. Back in at center, Charles Wirtz. And Lockhart running a bootleg. On the keeper, tries to turn it back inside, and the flag is down. There are flags everywhere. The ball's rolling loose. Delray recovers with a host of flags on the field. One thing is for sure, Delray is going to get the football. The Quaker defense comes on the field. Procedure against the Quakers declined. Clipping against the Quakers, an illegal crackback block declined. A fumble against the Quakers, and they'll take that one because the Rocks recovered. 6:35 remaining in the football game, and this thing is deteriorating a little bit, Bill. I don't think our kids, maybe all the activities planned for them on this trip have been a distraction, but they're really not ready to play football here.
Well, as you say, there's a lot of strange events. We thought the trip to Disney World was on the schedule for tomorrow, but there's an awful lot of circus of events going out here. Now we just had Delray dropping back, and the Little Quakers come up with the interception, and just that fast, Bernie, in the last 3 minutes, we've seen the ball in the air, on the ground, changing hands 3 or 4 times, but the Little Quakers come up with this interception, and they're in good field position again on their own Delray's 35-yard line here. And let's see if we can't put some semblance of order back into this ball game.
Billy Lockhart, the quarterback, that was David Clark with a fine interception, and he's been all over the field playing an outstanding game defensively in the secondary for the Quakers. Garzinski on a wide right, Peter Montague, the tight end left. Going out to join Garzinski is Webb, and also Hassett. It's going to be a flood pass to the right. Hassett open in the flat. It's a reception. The ball is loose, and Billy Lockhart threw the ball low, and Glenn Hassett, in trying to make the completion, lost his balance, and what should have been about a 10-yard gain turns into a loss of a half a yard. And you can just tell that things are off sync right now. Joe Schoenlieber comes into the game at quarterback for Lockhart. 2nd and 11, 5:20 remaining in the football game. Slot right formation. Schoenlieber pitches the ball to Webb, and the ball is loose, and Webb is drilled down at the 45-yard line. Pretty good execution on the play, and Scott Webb just didn't watch the ball into his hands, just let it trickle off his fingertips. I think he was looking ahead to try and juke somebody downfield, and there the ball was lying on the ground.
That's exactly right, Bernie. He just didn't look the ball in. The pitch was right there, nice execution, and he just tried to run with the ball before he got it. He did have that soft corner played by Delray, and he had some room to turn it up, but he just a little bit too much of a hurry. But the play was wide open, and I might look for them to come back to that. Right now they're facing the 3rd and 18 situation as they're just going backwards.
Schoenlieber out of a slot formation, tries to run a sweep into the sideline to Stanford Brown, and again, penetration. When the guards pulled, the backers shot the gap and hit the Quakers for a big loss back at the 44-yard line. Call it a loss of 4 yards. John Hale into punt at the 4-minute mark in the football game. Delray Beach really still not out of this, because 12 points is not an insurmountable lead or deficit to overcome, and with the kind of explosive running backs, the stable of running backs that they have, anything could happen. Hale hits a good punt down the middle of the field. Otis McKinney watches the ball roll, and it's going to be down by the Quakers at the 7-yard line, where Delray will have 93 yards to go to try to put it in the end zone.
Bernie, you wonder in a game like this with 2 real very talented teams, and they're both well coached. We know the fine coaching staff on the Little Quaker sideline over here. We're very familiar with those. That how a game can get out of hand like this, how we can have all the mistakes, the missed assignments, the exchange from the center to quarterback, the fumbles, all these things happen. And I guess the only explanation would be is that you get 2 fine teams like this that maybe the Quakers haven't played in 2 weeks. I know Delray hasn't played in about 2 weeks, and they get in a big game and they stop thinking about the small things that they have to do and think of the importance of the game, and they forget their basic assignments. But it's been an exciting game, certainly, but it has been a well-played game, and I think the Little Quaker coaches are going to have a talk with the players after this game before the game Saturday night.
Graham has his team out of the huddle, open backs, drops straight back in the pocket, throws it out there, and the ball is intercepted by Delaney. Delaney returns the ball down to the 6-yard line. Beautiful interception by Pat Delaney as he just played his position very well, and the Quakers now in a crazy situation have the ball knocking again, and I know how much they'd like to take the ball into the end zone, and they're going to give that opportunity to young quarterback Bill Fleming from Philadelphia and Cardinal Doherty. Bill Fleming, only a 13-year older, has the chance to return to this team next year. Brings his team out in a twins formation right. Gives it to the up back, Hale, who takes it down into the end zone. John Hale. Touchdown, Quakers. Good job by Billy Fleming.
Turn out the lights.
Oh, Dandy Gallagher is turning out the lights. The Quakers go on top 18-0 with 2:22 remaining in the game. And good.
Bernie, they're going to call that back. That is one of the latest flags I've ever seen. The kicking team, the extra point squad was out on the field, and now they're calling offsides on the offense, illegal procedure against the offense, and they're going to call that back a good 3 minutes after the play. So take away that score.
And the party's not over.
No, not yet.
2 minutes and 22 seconds remaining in the football game. Bill Fleming brings his team out. Hale and Hassett, the running backs behind him. Webb in the slot. Little counter action to Hassett, who breaks a tackle at the line of scrimmage, and Hassett takes it into the end zone. Good execution by Billy Fleming, and great running by Glenn Hassett as he broke a tackle at the line of scrimmage and then put on a burst of speed into the secondary and hit another tackler at the 1-yard line and drove into the end zone. Touchdown, Little Quakers and Glenn Hassett.
Great execution and a great run by Hassett, and I hope the extra point team hurry up, get out here and kick it before we see a flag on the field up here. Hopefully that's going to do it right there. That's 18-0. We have 2 minutes left in the game, and it's just a matter of running out the clock now.
Joe Schoenlieber in to attempt an extra point out of Skaczynski's hold. Garzinski snaps it. The ball is blocked. The ball is blocked. The Rocks are going to be called for roughing the kicker, and the Quakers are going to get another crack at the extra point. The Quakers have the ball at the 1-yard line, and they bring their offensive unit back onto the field. Fleming, the quarterback. Fleming throws a bootleg pass out to Gerald McNeil, just underthrown, and it is batted down. And that PAT is no good. With 2:20 remaining in the football game, Little Quakers 18, Delray Rocks nothing. We'll be back to conclude today's game after this message.
Sunset Memorial Park, set on 200 acres in beautiful Bucks County, is dedicated to the respectful care of the deceased and to the inspiration of the living. Its dignified memorials of imperishable bronze are set level with the lawn, thus providing a scenic and uncluttered environment, one that can be an abiding haven of comfort for surviving family and friends. We invite you to talk with our staff for further information. Our administration building is open daily from 9 to 5. Sunset Memorial Park, County Line Road in Feasterville.
Schoenlieber in the kickoff. Hits a short one. It's going to be fielded by Laverne Burke at the 25-yard line, over the 30 to the outside 35. Cuts against the grain and up to the 38-yard line, and a penalty marker back inside the 30 as Laverne Burke, with a good piece of running, gets the ball out to the 38-yard line. It's going to be a clip, and there is a Little Quaker down on the field. Jimmy Dugan was shaken up running down under that kick. In fact, he was the man who was clipped, and he limps off the field, but doesn't appear to be bad at all. He's putting more and more weight on it with every step, and I think Jimmy will be ready to play on Saturday night. Looks like the Quakers are going to walk out of here 5-0, have struggled to an 18-0 lead at this point, and continue their undefeated season, but not in the fashion that most certainly the coaching staff would have liked to see it. There's a new quarterback into the game now. Little, I mean really little. He's a midget. Theodis Lee, the new quarterback for the Rocks. And little Theodis Lee hands off the right side on a sweep and hit at the line of scrimmage for no gain. In on the tackle, Mike Schrager, defensive end. And the beat goes on, Bill Gallagher. The Quakers now run their season mark to 5-0 and look forward to Disney World tomorrow. And then and some more activities on Saturday during the day, and then a season-ending game against Cooper City on Saturday.
Well, I think the coaching staff might be on that bus to Disney World with them tomorrow to talk to them a little bit about tonight's performance. And although they did win 18-0, or they're on their way to winning 18-0, and the defense played fairly well, it just was not a typical Little Quaker performance out here tonight. And how much the Delray Rocks had to do that, we just don't know since they're new to us, just watching them here tonight for the first time. They just ran a little sweep to the right here, and it seems that Bernie, to me, that the Delray is content just to run the clock out here.
Well, these are the young Colts in here now for the. This looks like the JV squad. That time, Theodis Lee handed to Jefferson Jackson, a little kid from ran the sweep, and Jackson got it out to the 23-yard line, and I think there was some hitting going on out there. One thing, despite all the errant play, I think there was some pretty good pad cracking, and both teams ought to sleep pretty well.
Yeah, they should do that. The first couple series were really hard hit, defensive battles, defensive struggles, perhaps a little tension on both sides. After all, Bernie, this is not a neighborhood game where they're playing a team from around the corner somewhere. They are playing out of state. Both squads are playing out of state teams, and there's a lot of pride on the Little Quakers' part down here playing for the city of Philadelphia, as I'm sure there are, is Delray representing Fort Lauderdale and Florida.
I think that's one of the things that we ought to remark on, Bill, and that is that these young men know that they are representatives of Philadelphia and the Delaware Valley, and we are very pleased to report that they are fine representatives. They handle themselves very well and very maturely, and they do everyone proud and just handle themselves like fine young men as they travel and go through the airports and see people from all over the country, and they're proud to tell people about the Little Quakers. A little sweep right that time, again to Jackson from Lee, and Tommy Preeb comes in and makes the hit, and now Jackson is shaking on the sideline. Jackson is okay, and the Rocks get back into the huddle, and Theodis Lee barking the signals. Runs a quarterback sneak this time into the secondary. Good yardage, and he's going to go down after about an 8-yard gain. On that tackle will be Mark Skaczynski, and the whistle is blown on the field. The gong does not sound, fortunately, for our ears and for our listeners' ears, and that's the end of this football game with the Quakers coming out on top 18-0. And Bill Gallagher, we've been wrapping this up all along. I just want to tell you how much I've enjoyed doing this broadcast with you. Wishing you all the best in your career at Penn Charter, and let's hope the Little Quakers come out on top against Cooper City on Saturday.
Well, thanks a lot, Bernie. It was a privilege doing this game with you, and we'll see if the Little Quakers' execution can't be a little bit better on Saturday night. We hope to enjoy ourselves the rest of the weekend down here. And again, nice finish by the Quakers, 18-0, keeping the record 5-0.
Now that will conclude today's broadcast of Little Quaker football here on your sports station, WBUX. For Bill Gallagher, this is Bernie Zabresny. Thanks for being with us, and have yourself a great weekend.